For a few years now, the Mevo system of cameras has been my answer to my live streaming needs, and I'd like to share with you today 3 reasons why I think it should be yours as well. The first reason I think Mevo can be the answer to your live streaming needs is because of its value, providing you have a reasonably recent tablet or phone, a reliable internet connection, and $400 or so, you too can begin using the Mevo system of cameras. The Start, in addition to the Plus and the original first gen, is an encoder and camera in one. It's being controlled by a free app, and it runs on devices dating all the way back to iPhone 6 and Galaxy 6S. Less than 1% of the folks who will watch this are professional video producers requiring a professional product. That means for 99% of you, the Mevo will be the answer to your live streaming needs for your live streaming audience, whether that be yoga studios or pitching lessons or distance learning or worship or city council meetings or live streaming youth sports. The camera is portable, it is powerful, and for about $400 you can get started. Part of the value is, though, in its expandability. Let's say you outgrow your one camera system and you need a multi-camera system. Well, you can download a free app, the Mevo Multicam app, save up your pennies and spend the next $400, and you can have a multi-camera system up and running on most likely the same device you started with. You can see here the requirements for multicam are a little bit more stringent than for Mevo 2.0, but they likely don't exclude you from using it. The second reason, by the way, there's going to be 4 reasons, not 3. I've thought of another, and I'm going to save it till the end. The second reason is the support this company offers. Now, I'm going to talk about support in 2 different ways, but let's start with app development and app updates. A few years ago, there was a new device that hit the market called the Obsbot Tail. It was a slick PZT, battery-operated, tripod-mountable streaming wonder. I actually sold my Mevo products so I could buy the Obsbot Tail and see if I could use it as my main camera. Now, I have reviewed another product from the same company called the Obsbot Me. It's different in its design and its intent. It is an AI tracking device that will hold a Mevo Start, it will hold a phone, it will hold an action cam, just about any camera that'll fit in its jaws, it'll hold and train on you. It has its own eye. There's no software that you have to download onto a phone to get it to work. So it's a wonder of how it operates and the freedom you have to put any camera in there and have it track you. But that wasn't this camera. What I bought was the Obsbot Tail, and its app development suffered greatly. You couldn't do any of the things that I was used to doing through the Mevo 2.0 app in the way of putting overlays and streaming multi-destination and all those other pieces that were built into 2.0. It just didn't work for the Obsbot Tail. And anytime I ever tried to reach out to the company to try to get them to take a feature request, I always felt like I was just being patronized. What they're working on now works really well, not to down that company, but as they originally released the Obsbot Tail, it just struggled on the app development side. Eventually, I had to resell it and repurchase my Mevo products. The ability to choose shots as presets or add graphics and countdowns in 2.0 adds incredible functionality to your stream, and audio controls being built right in. The wide range of streaming options being built right in. There's so many features that go with this free downloadable app that we use to run our Mevo cameras that make this a much better, greater value. In terms of app updates, now I know that for streaming services, sometimes app updates are a catch-22. The end user wants app updates, but they don't want it at an inconvenient time for them if it's a forced app update. So yeah, catch-22. The ability to stream to Twitch or Facebook or YouTube is dependent on that platform's rules and regulations. It's API, so to speak. That's what allows the sender to have something received on the platform end for distribution. When the API changes, oftentimes it breaks something in the streaming software, which means a software update has to be pushed to fix that. When you throw into the mix the software updates that Android or iOS pushes out, or even the phone updates that sometimes Samsung will push out independent of Android, then you can see how frustrating it must be for app updates to remain consistent, to remain fluid, and to remain so that they're not an inconvenience for the end user. When Mevo moved away from Vimeo, requiring a Vimeo subscription for their graphic uploads, for their graphic distribution, for their graphic displays, for on-screen or in-stream graphics use, we saw an app update. Now that update should have caused dancing in the streets, because what used to cost us at least $15 a month on a subscription basis to have those graphics through Vimeo is now free. As in free. As in free. The software development team at Mevo is constantly pushing toward more and better features in both the 2.0 and the multicam apps, and we, the end user, are definitely better off for it. Now, the other area of support that I wanted to highlight is not so much a direct support area, but there are a lot of you that may not know this story, so I'm going to tell it anyway. In the height of the COVID difficulty, when it was such a difficult time in 2020 for everyone to try to get their voice, their video, their stream out to folks that needed it, Mevo took that opportunity to donate 100 bundles, to the New York public schools. And then they opened up another 100 to be donated for anyone who would apply and give reason why it would be useful to their organization. They wound up donating a full 200 Mevo bundles, including a Mevo Plus, Mevo Boost, SD card, charging cable, charging block, and case. Those retailed for $729. And they said, it's okay, we'll be fine. These folks need these, and they forwent the $145,000 worth of revenue those would have brought in. Generosity is a huge part of what we've seen traditionally be the Mevo company. And I have my own personal story about that kind of support, about that kind of generosity. In November of 2020, I too caught the COVID virus. And my case wasn't bad. I had a couple of days where I felt like I had the man flu. But for the most part, my worst symptom was boredom. I mean, I had aches and fatigue, and I had the loss of taste and smell, and that wasn't any fun at all. But after about the third day, I had 11 days that I just needed to find a way to kill. If I hadn't been quarantined in the room that had my 3D printer and my computer and my cameras and my sewing machine, I think I would have gone nuts. Well, while I was in there, I went ahead and knocked out several videos, and in the process, the crew at Mevo heard that I was down with COVID, and they sent me a Mevo care package. It included 2 Mevo Start cases, a Mevo Plus case, an LED light, and a Mevo Start. Just because you can really get behind a company that operates with a sense of generosity like that. I think more of us should operate with such a sense. The third reason that I think you should be using Mevo as your live streaming solution is because of ease of use. They have built this system to be easy to use. Now, I know this is anecdotal because ease is relative, and there are a lot of folks who have had a difficult time getting streaming to work where they live. And I'm not arguing that, and I'm not trying to make light of that, but here's my experience. I've gotten calls from sports parents and pastors and bloggers and podcasters from all over the United States and from some other companies asking if I can give some input and help them dial in their live stream. And for the most part, it has only taken a few phone calls, a couple of emails, maybe a Zoom call here and there to get those issues resolved, because the solution here that Mevo has built is a relatively easy solution. The last time I was able to stream a Friday night football game, the press box was busy. I had a lot of extra responsibilities that night, and so I was admittedly distracted, preoccupied, more so than usual. And my 45-second clock guy had his wife in the box with us that night. Well, she volunteered to run the stream. I set her down in front of my iPad, and for someone who had never even looked at the Mevo multicam software before, she was able to run a 3 camera system plus keep the scoreboard on that stream. And her comment was, "Everything's right here on front. This is easy." Ease of use. The more Mevo keeps developing the apps, the better the user experience gets. Now, that fourth thing that I wanted to bring up as to why Mevo is a great solution for live streaming is because of community support. Now, this is not something the company has built. I don't think they could have built it had they tried, but there is an incredible family, community of support available online that offers help to one another. There's a Mevo customer support group on Facebook. There's also a multicam customer group on Facebook, and both of those have members in those groups that are incredibly generous with their time, with their expertise, with their advice. And there's been many times I've gone to those places and I've thrown out there what my issue was, and they've been willing to tackle it. They've been willing to ask questions and give answer. Maybe they've had similar experiences and they've worked out the solution already, and they've been free to give that kind of advice. Community support is something that a company sometimes has a hard time building, but this one has it built there on those Facebook groups.